4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Jack's World. Hope you are having a great day and enjoying your week so far. I'm here with Jessie. She's a live performer in Second Life, and she's here to talk to you all about how to get started and her personal experiences in Second Life. For those of y'all that might be coming in a bit later on, or even catch this in the rebroadcast later, feel free to chime in at any point in time and leave your comments below. Hello, Jesse. How you doing?
I am wonderfully fantastic.
I'm glad to hear that. So, I know me and you've known each other for quite some time, but I think when we first met, you weren't actually singing in SL at that point in time yet. How did you get started?
I got started in live music. Well, I've been singing since I was about 3, and I started in SL as a host and a dancer, but my passion was really to share my music with the world and what I really enjoyed doing, which was singing. So I had a friend of mine actually purchase a mixer, and I walked through the steps and got everything hooked up there, and that's how I started it. Started singing to little groups and here and there, and next thing you know, I'm singing at venues. So that's pretty much
Oh,
how
that
I
is
started.
cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But the way you got started sounds very fascinating. I mean, so really, you were just basically doing it in real life for a very long time. What made you really, when you first saw your first live act and second live, was that what really spurred you on right off the bat, or did it take a bit?
It took a bit, mainly because I'm not really technically savvy, and I didn't have the funds at that time to purchase the mixer and get everything hooked up. I knew that eventually I wanted to sing in Second Life, but I would go to shows and I thought it was really cool and awesome, but it did take some time before I got the professional microphone and everything hooked up and learned how to actually sing in Second Life.
Okay, now, was there somebody that helped you get started, or did you just like wing it?
I had some friends at the time that aren't really close to me anymore that kind of pushed me towards that. But there's a couple of other professional singers out there that kind of took me under their wing and helped me set the mixer and get the sounds right, because it's kind of hard to hear in Second Life. It sounds a little different once you're going live. You can hear it great in real life, but once it goes through the system, it sounds a little different. So you need that second set of ears to kind of
Same way
help you
with
set the
DJing
levels and
sometimes
things.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have a time delay in between what we're hearing on your performance and what you're actually saying? You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
absolutely. There is about, I would say, a 10-second delay once you start your stream and it picks up. So there's a 10-second delay there. That's why after the end of every show, the best thing to do there is to not end your stream up until about 10-15 seconds afterwards, because if you end it too early, you hear repeated things. You're saying goodbye to everybody about 50 times before the stream actually cuts off.
All right, I see we got a quick couple of people already tuning in. For those of y'all just popped in, welcome. If y'all have any questions at all whatsoever, feel free to say something in chat, and we will do our best to answer your questions. Um, we're here with Jessie, by the way, if you're just popping in. She's a live performer here in Second Life, and she has real life experience doing it as well. Now, off air, we were sitting there talking about how, oh, I got how to put this. Oh, you were talking about your passions, basically. Was singing in Second Life your only passion to get started in world, or was it something else that brought you into Second Life?
Oh man, singing was not at all what brought me into Second Life. Um, Actually, it was a broken relationship in real life that brought me into Second Life. because I honestly thought that I wasn't ever going to find love in real life. So I
Uh
thought, you know what, I'll just jump into Second Life and I'll find love. Well, I found it all right, but it wasn't the best. Um,
huh.
I actually branched out and enjoyed my wild side for quite a bit of time before I calmed myself down and got my real life situated. And then I started live singing.
What was the first song you ever sung and sang?
For the first song I ever sung,
Or a genre or something of that nature?
I think it was Ain't No Sunshine,
Oh,
if
good
I'm
tune.
not
Very good
mistaken.
tune. Now that you've been doing it for a while, what's the first thing you would say to somebody when they're just breaking into the industry?
Rome is not built in a day. It does take time to build an audience. I honestly don't have that big of an audience as I did before I took a year and a half break from live singing. Um, there's a lot of artists that are well seasoned and they have large followings, and then there are a lot of just starting artists that have very small groups. Um, get yourself a management team, if you can. Don't try to tackle it on your own because you'll get in a lot more venues if you have a seasoned management team.
All right. Did you find it was kind of hard breaking in from the beginning?
Absolutely, I did. I tried to do it on my own for a while when I first started singing, and there were quite a few venues because I was not a seasoned performer and I did not have a management team that straight up said, no, we don't want you unless you have a management team.
Well, we
Um,
had you once at my old club way back in the day. You were quite well, did very well, by the way. You have a great singing voice. But do you even remember that?
I do. That was before. I'm thinking that was maybe about 2 years ago before I got married in real life. Um, and I sang there quite a few times
Right?
actually.
That was a long time ago. Now,
Not that long.
in Second Life, yeah, it's been a long time there. Now that you've been doing it for a while, do you feel that it's easier to get into a groove and start booking venues? Or you still have the same struggle you did back in the beginning?
I honestly still have the same struggle that I did back in the beginning. What we've got going on now is there's a lot of venues that are closing. And so live singers are having a harder and harder time booking venues. And then there's so many things going on in SL, and you get people who don't want to come to live shows anymore. Not only that, but then you get a lot of seasoned artists who get a ton of people at their shows, and the newer artists are not hardly getting any followers. Therefore, venues, when you book a lesser known artist, um, they don't tend to bring the huge crowd as, let's say, the more well-known artists do. So the venues are like ending those live shows there.
Right. Second Life overall has changed so much throughout the years. It's hard for anybody to get really going on anything, quite honestly, unless you've already been doing it for like 9, 10 years and already pretty well established. Um, what else do you like to do in Second Life? Because I know some of your fans might be tuning into this at some point in time, and they're going to want to know these things.
um I'm a really simple person. I'm a homebody. I hang out with a special group of friends. My bestie Kitty, she's awesome. And then I'm also a supporter right now of an MC, which I've been in this MC for a really long time, which is a motorcycle club. If anybody has ever heard of an MC or you want to know more about that, great group of people. I absolutely love that group of people. They come to some of my shows too. It was kind of funny. I was doing a show one time and the motorcycle club came into the venue And I had the owner message me. They're like, "Do you want me to kick them out? Do you want me to kick them out?" No, don't kick them out. They're with me.
Yeah, I can imagine how that would go over. Oh man. Do you find yourself enjoying it as much now as you did in the beginning?
Absolutely. There's live singing in general is fun. It doesn't matter if I'm singing to 3 people or like 50 people. Um, Music in general and being on stage and sharing my music with the world is just it's it's amazing. Um, it's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world to do is just stand on stage and have fun and goof off and sing at the top of my lungs. Sometimes I sing so powerful that my mic ends up redlining. And so I have to learn to adjust and move back because my lungs will kill your ears if I'm too close to the microphone.
Okay, now, do you have any bookings coming up anytime soon?
Let me look at that. I think I do. I've got a booking on Thursday. That is at the Refuge. That's at 5 p.m. SLT. And then I'm also singing at the fandom for the American Cancer Society on Saturday. That is a charity event. So if you're able to head over there and want to hear me live there, that's a great
Right.
venue to go to.
Alrighty, now, those are the only two places you got coming up here
For
recently,
this
or?
week, yes. Each week is a little different. Um, so some weeks I'm super busy. Some weeks I have hardly any bookings. It just depends on the venues that want to book me. So it all
Let me
depends
adjust
on
the
the venue.
wires here. I feel like my battery's getting ready to drop on me here. So, one moment. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how many shows do you usually do a week?
About 3 right now. And again, it just depends on the week. Sometimes it's 1 or 2, and then sometimes it's 3. I was supposed to have I think 4 this week, but I had real life interfere with one of them, so that happens
Yeah, it
unfortunately.
happens. Do you find yourself getting tired midweek or towards the end of the week when your voice is kind of dropping? This because we all get tired during one of the work week. So on a singer, that's got to take a toll.
Um, the most of the days that I'm tired is basically on Sunday, because I sing in real life on Sundays for about 2-3 hours sometimes, and then I have a show Sunday night every other week. So on Sundays, my voice by the end of that is pretty croaky, but other than that, it's pretty good. When I book shows, I have to make sure that my shows are about an hour apart, because if I try to book back to back, I sound like a frog afterwards, and I
I
don't
can
want any
imagine.
venue. I don't want any venue to get a half butt performance.
Now, okay, where do you see your singing career as far as second love is concerned in about 3 years from now? If you're still singing, or do you even see yourself singing that long?
I do. I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon because one thing that was keeping me from live singing was the fact that I lived in an apartment at the time. So I started singing live, and then I had to take a year and a half or a year break because I lived in an apartment, and I'm pretty sure the neighbors did not want to hear me sing at the top of my lungs. So now that I'm living in my own place, I'm able to sing more often and more frequently. Um, so that's not going to stop the live singing there, but I'm hoping to have some more fans in 3 years and some more bookings.
Are you happy on your where your career is right now and where it was?
Absolutely. I'm happy no matter what I'm doing, but it's still growing, and I'm gaining new fans and new venues all the time. Um, and that's what's important is the fans and people that come to the shows.
Now, as a live singer, you kind of looked at like a personal owner of your own store or whatnot. Do you find singing affects your social life and second life? Like you're doing that so much you can't really hang out with the people you want to hang out with on a regular basis, or do you find it as adds to it?
It actually adds to it. Like I did say, I hung out with an MC. They're great people, and they end up coming to my shows. But as of right now, it's not like I'm singing back to back to back. So I'm able to actually hang out with people and do things outside of live singing.
Oh, that's
And I
good.
don't ever want to get so busy that I don't have time. And I've told my manager before, real life comes first as well. So I schedule my live shows around real life obligations. And if something comes up, those real life obligations take precedence over live singing.
Well, that's the way it
Because,
should be,
you
quite
know,
honestly.
this this is a virtual world. And at the end of the day, if something happens to the virtual world, you don't want it to go down and say, oh my gosh, what do I do in real life now? So it's always important to make sure that real life comes first, no matter what you're doing in Second Life.
Now, what's your favorite genre of music to sing?
Oh, you had to ask that question.
Well, you
I
knew it was
actually,
coming. You had to have known it
I
was coming.
I do. Well, one of my favorite genres to sing is rock. Um, I love singing like 80s rock. But I think the one thing that shocks people is when I bust out with Metallica. You don't normally hear female artists in Second Life sing Metallica and sing it well. So,
I actually have yet to hear a female artist sing anything by Metallica, so
really?
that's something you must have added to your shows here recently because you didn't really do that back in the day anyway.
I do. I sing Metallica and Evanescence and a lot of rock and emo gothic rock and everything from um, what is it? Stevie Nicks. I sing Stevie Nicks, Metallica, The Police, all the way down to um, Beth Hart. Got
Do you?
some.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
didn't mean to interrupt. But do you rely on requests or do you frame your sets ahead of time? And
I
if so,
rely on requests. There are some times where I don't hardly get any requests, and then I have such a huge song list that I sometimes play music roulette, and I just swipe my hand over the wheel and I say, okay, stop here, and I sing whatever I come up to. And it may be anything from Leanne Womack, I Hope You Dance, to I Love Rock and Roll.
for those of y'all just tuned in, welcome. Don't be shy. You can ask a question in chat. We won't bite too hard. Well, I can't speak for her, but I won't bite too hard anyway. um, Now you said that you do a lot of Metallica. That's like I said, that's very shocking. What made you start doing Metallica?
What made me start doing Metallica? I just wanted something different. A lot of the female artists will sing things like Adele or um, a Sarah Bareilles or something like that, and I just wanted to be different, and I wanted to have fun with it. Um, and not only that, but there are some venues that don't want the sleepy lullaby music, and there are some that just really want to
Right.
rock your face off, and that's the type of person that I am. I don't like sleepy lullaby music.
Now you mentioned you have a manager. You want to drop their names in case somebody's looking for representation?
Absolutely. I'm actually represented by Lori. Let me get her full name here.
Okay.
Lori C. or
You're
Lori
still with Lori,
Alexis.
huh?
I still am. So if you want to book me, you can message Lori, um, and she can get you hooked up. And I'm not very expensive either.
Well, I'm glad to see you stay with that little connection.
Yes, I love Miss Lori.
She's a great person. She truly is. If you were to say between Metallica, I'll throw one out here. Let's say Megadeth. Really challenging your vocals there. Which would you pick over, Metallica or Megadeth? And could you really still
Metallica.
sing a Megadeth song?
I don't even have one of Megadeth on there. I just have Metallica, and it's. I think I have like two of their songs, so it's not like a huge song list from Metallica. But I
Okay.
mean, some of their famous. So, like I did say, I have a whole huge song list to pick from.
Do you ever like to challenge yourself with seeing what you can perform? And have you ever done a song on the fly?
Oh my gosh, I have done songs on the fly. I love doing that too. If I know the song or semi know the song and somebody requests it, I will sing it live. And sometimes I fail miserably. That's the fun part about singing live. Um, is sometimes you fail. We call it live checks. Um, and sometimes you just you bomb it or hit some ugly notes. But I mean, we're live, so
You're supposed to just have fun with it. I mean, make it fun. If your fans don't see that it's bothering you to mess up, then they'll go with it. You know, even some might even heckle you a little bit about it in chat. I've seen that before. But as long as it doesn't bother you to make a mistake here and there and you have fun with it, that makes for a better show, in my opinion, quite honestly.
it does. I love to have fun when I'm up there on stage, and I really don't take anything super serious. Unless somebody's just like really mean. But I mean, if a little heckling, like the other day, I was singing "Hungry Eyes," and my management team, Miss Kitty, was hosting for me, and she shouted in local "Hungry Thighs." Um, I was singing one time. What song was it? Um, Bad Moon. Okay, and it says there's a bad moon on the rise. And my manager at the time kept thinking it was hilarious and res the bathroom on the right of me on stage, which was hilarious too. But I mean, you have to have fun with it. I am not super serious on stage. The way I am in SL and real life is the way I am when I'm on stage.
You're always, back in the day, you always loved to have a good time. And yeah, you would cut up when the opportunity presented itself. Um, I'm glad to see you haven't changed that aspect. Um,
No.
Now, do you have, let's see, one favorite venue that you like to sing at in the most out of everywhere else, or do you want to just kind of keep that kind of quiet?
No, I don't think I have a particular venue that I love to sing at the most. Um, but I do sing at um Yellowstone bi-weekly as well as the Refuge. Those are two venues that have me booked bi-weekly. So every other week I alternate between the two venues, and I guess those are my favorites right there to sing at. Is they book me every other week.
Well, that's cool. That's good that you have steady work like that. That's something you can rely on. Now, if somebody wanted to look you up, do you have like a website or a blog or something like that?
I don't. I know I had a Facebook at one time. I'm not active on my Facebook. Um, but I have songs on SoundCloud, which you can look up jesie.janick on SoundCloud, and you'll absolutely find some of my songs there. Or you can look me up on Facebook. Kitty's pretty great at making sure that my events are posted on Facebook and keeping that updated. Or you can just message me in World. I love making new friends and talking to people. So if you have any questions about my live shows or any other live singers that you would enjoy, I can help you out and point you in the right direction there as well.
Oh, very cool. Okay, now for the big question. Are you just set on singing at venues or do you do private parties like weddings and things like that?
Anytime I can sing, I will sing. Private parties, birthday parties. I'll even dress up as a clown and sing at a kid's party. Um, Strip clubs. I've done that before too. Um, Fundraisers. I do those as well. Which this Saturday I've got the American Cancer Society one coming up. I've done Second Life birthday. Um, I've done all kinds of venues, so I'm not opposed to anything. It just the rates do change depending on the type of show that you're requesting.
Oh, that's cool. Now, do you dress up in a particular type of attire or do you just come as you are for your standard
Um,
shows?
for my standard show, it's mostly just come as you are. I don't think I have anything formal or out of the ordinary. I used to sing at some formal venues before, but right now the only things that I really do have are casual, come as you are, as long as you're not naked.
Right. Now, is there anything you would like the people to know about you and your singing career that we haven't covered yet?
I don't think there's anything that we haven't really covered. Um, Again, I do have tons of music and all kinds of genres, everything from gospel all the way to metal. So there's not a genre that's not covered. I've even had some Christian songs requested at my shows before. So I will pretty much sing anything. The only thing I cannot do is rap. So don't ask me to sing a rap song because I can't rap. I can rap in
Mate's mental
present.
note
I
to
just
self
can't.
and request a rap song one day.
No, I can rap a gift, but not rap a song.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Well, it's refreshing to actually get a live artist on the show to talk about their craft. I did an interview with Lark once a long time ago, a very long time ago, but I think she's just now getting back into singing after taking a bit of a break herself. Um, Mistake. I'm not really too sure about this, but I think at one point in time she was managed by Lori C too. But don't quote me on that.
I know that Lori had a very large group of artists that she was managing, but she took a break from managing for a while, and I went with a different management group. And then once I took my break and I came back, Lori said that she would manage me. So not only does she manage me, but she also manages Wolfie Starfire as well.
Oh, nice.
And it's just me and her right now.
Is it a competitive industry? I mean, do you feel like you
Um,
had to really compete with other artists, or is it like one big giant community?
I don't compete with people. I can speak for that. I love everybody, no matter what kind of genre they do or where they're at artistry wise. I don't compete with people, but I have heard that there are some that are super competitive, and I won't drop names there. Um, but then again, you have a big difference between artists that have been established for years and years and years. They tend to be booked more often because they have a larger following than you do artists that are just starting. So I encourage everybody that's listening to live, go see some of the not so well known artists and support them as well.
All right, I want to take this opportunity right at the halfway mark to let people know if you're tuning in a little bit later on and watching this on a later date. Pop around the stream at any point in time. You can catch what we were originally talking about from the beginning all the way to the end. And if you're new to Jatch World and you like the content we produce here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and tell all your friends about us. Also, now we're getting back to talking here with Jessie and about her singing career in Second Life. We've just covered basically everything I can think of to a great degree. Now, in her personality type, do you ever feel nervous when you go on air, or is it just old hat by now?
Um, Honestly, it depends on the venue. If I'm doing a very large venue, there are a little bit of nerves, and it depends on if it's well established or like if I know that there's some people watching because sometimes venue owners will go to other venues to scout talent. And so that makes it a little nerve wracking if I'm performing for more venue owners, especially when my management team lets me know that they're in the audience. Because then it's just like, oh my gosh. And then they request a specific song, and I'm going, I don't have the pipes to sing that song right now. And then I have to sing that specific song, and it's just like, it's a little nerve wracking. Um, but most of the time when I get on stage, I just have fun. Like it's not nerve wracking at all. It's like I'm singing for a group of friends.
Now, when you feel like you're nervous in the beginning, do you feel like it goes away pretty quickly, like within a song or two, or does it linger?
Oh yeah, it goes away like within a song or two. I usually like to start my sets with a fun upbeat song, um, because I like to get the group and the crowd involved in it. I've noticed a lot of times, if you're going to hear a live artist, most people will TP out within the first two songs if they're not captured by the live singer. And so I tend to start with an upbeat, fast song, and I like to have more fun those first few songs. That way, I get it all out of my system, and then I can do what I do, which is sing my butt off. And my dogs are over here arguing for some reason. So if you hear growling, I promise it's not my stomach.
Oh, you're fine, my dear. Um, well, let's see. We covered on how to get started. We covered the genre. We've covered the management question. Let's see. We've covered pretty much everything that I had made a list for. If there's anything you want to talk freely about, I say now is the time to do so. Um, we've had a few people pop in and out, but chat doesn't really seem to be all active today. So just hopefully now with this particular type of series that I've started doing, it's going to take a while for it to catch on. Um, some some interviews have gotten more views than others. It depends on the topic and basically how well it got pushed by everybody involved. Now you were sitting there saying you were gone all weekend. I hope everything was all right.
Oh yeah, everything was great. So real life it took over for me, and I ended up singing at a conference, in real life and getting to preach a little bit. Um, so that's something in my real life. I don't really tell a lot of people that I am an ordained minister as well, um, as playing Second Life. So that's why my real life it takes precedence. Um, so I was preaching and singing all weekend. So
Yeah, I think I want to
very
talk to you
busy.
about that off the air sometime.
Absolutely.
That seems very interesting indeed. Um, now you were sitting there saying that you got married recently here in real life, and how is that working out for you as far as the second life commitments? Because I have always heard, and I've seen it a few times myself, where people they find happiness, they fall in love in the real, and then they back away from second life altogether. Do you see yourself ever doing that?
I've done it quite a few times back and forth. Um, as I did say, real life does take precedence. So if there is conflict or issues going on in real life, those are more important to deal with. And
Of
Second Life
course it
is more of
is.
like a
You-
mental break and sit down and have fun as if you were going to play a video game. Um, you know, there you always have to escape for a little bit to calm your mind down. So Second Life for me is like that. I just jump on to calm my mind and have a little bit of fun and chit chat with people. But
mhm.
it does affect real life. I'm letting you know it does. Um, I've seen a lot of people come and go. Um, I've seen a lot of relationships in real life fall apart because of Second Life. So
I've
it's
seen that
super
too.
important.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's super important to make sure that Second Life, or any game for that matter, does not interfere with real life.
Exactly. And I found it very interesting that you called it a game, and you are on the same side that I am as far as that's concerned. But there are so many people in here that take me to task on calling it a game. It's a virtual world. It's not a game. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I digress. I didn't mean to really get on a little tangent there. I'm kind of known for that from time to time, so overlook me there.
It just that's perfectly fine to do the same thing. It just depends on the person. Just like anything, people have opinions. Um, but at the end of the day, what happens if your power goes out? You know,
Oh
you
yeah,
have no game.
don't
You
get
don't have
off
a
in
Second
on
Life.
shape over that.
I do tangents too.
Like we were supposed to do this interview last week, and my power went out. So yeah, it happens.
It does.
Jesse, you are a joy to talk to, and I can tell. Like I said, I've had you at my clubs before, and I've been to a couple of your other acts, and you have a wonderful singing voice, and I hope that you get what you want out of this whole experience as far as singing in Second Life is concerned. Do you feel like you're getting that by now, or is it still a work in progress?
I feel like I am right where I'm supposed to be. I don't like to rush it. I don't like to push it. Because I find that if I try to push too much in Second Life, real life suffers, and if I push too much in real life, Second Life suffers. So I've got a good balance going on right now, and I've told my management before. I'm like, don't overbook me because I like not having to log in when I don't need to log in.
Oh yeah, that is a beautiful thing right there. You're not supposed to be stressing out or something like this in Second Life or any other virtual platform or social platform for that matter, because it's meant to be a place where you can relax and take a break from the real life headaches. But, I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but, there have been a lot of people coming into Second Life that are in there for just looking for their next mystery, great love adventure, and all that. Um, what did you really think about? And I know you're not doing it now, but at the times that you did have Second Life relationships, how did that affect your singing career?
I'm as I told you before, I'm an open book. I have been in numerous relationships in Second Life, and I even had a relationship in Second Life go into real life, and I ended up married to that person. We won't go into that story, um, but it does it does affect it. Mainly because you're on stage and you're popular, and some gentlemen in Second Life don't like the fact that the women make the money in Second Life. They want to be the provider, just like in real life. Um, but sometimes you do find guys that are supportive, and sometimes they just want to hang out with the artist and want to say, "Well, that I got her," you know. But I don't
Right.
have that issue anymore in Second Life, so we're good there.
It sounds like you were in a very good place emotionally and spiritually, and I am so happy for you as far as that's concerned. Like I said, I've known you for a while, and yeah, we're not gonna get into that little story, but yeah, I know exactly what happened back in those days, and I'm glad you found happiness.
Yeah, them days were a little rough, but
Yeah,
we all come into SL, and at that point in my life, that was my escape. So we all do things in Second Life that we wouldn't do in real life. Um, but that's the best thing about Second Life is you can change at any moment, just like you can in real life.
exactly. Well, Jesse, I want to thank you again for coming on the show and sharing your time with us because everybody's time is a very valuable asset. And in closing, if there's anything you want to remind anybody of, feel free to do so.
I don't think there's anything that I really need to remind anybody of. It's just make sure you're having fun. Um, Second Life is not a place for serious all the time. It's a place to escape. That's pretty much what it is. So it shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be work. It should just be fun and have fun. Go to live shows. Have some fun. Cut up with the artist. That's what we do.
All right, Jesse, and like I said, thank you again for coming on the show. And for those of y'all who are tuned in right now and you just popped in, well, feel free to skip around the stream or watch it in its entirety later on. And this has been Jack's World and another edition of. Well, I'm trying to come up with a song name for this segment, so we're just going to kind of leave it blank for right now. But overall, hope you all have enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed already, do so. Hit that like button. And to all your friends about Jack's World, and I'll talk to you all next time. You all have a great one. Stay safe out there, and God bless. Thanks again, Jesse, for coming on.